Okay, let's continue with problem 5. When we set up our proportion the correct way, when we have money as our numerator, in this case $78, and hours as our denominator, in this case 6 hours and 9 hours, if we were to solve this proportion, we would multiply these two numbers, 78 times 9, and divide by 6. So 78 times 9 and divide by 6. So let's take a look at an answer choice that has 78 times 9. Well, it can't be answer choice B because you have 6 times 9. We're multiplying the wrong numbers. In answer choice C, it's hard to see, but you have a plus and a minus sign here. So we're not multiplying 78 and 9. And answer choice D, okay, yes, we're multiplying 78 times 9. And then if we were to solve this equation, after you multiply 78 times 9, you would divide by 6, which is what we're doing here in the proportion. So the correct answer would be D. Number 6. Each square root is between two integers. And let's recall an integer is a whole number, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, and its opposite, such as -1, -2, -3, -4. So the square root of 104 is between the square root of 121 and the square root of 100. And the square root of 100 is 10, and the square root of 121 is 11. So the square root of 104 has to be between 10 and 11, answer choice A. Number 7. You have a two-step equation. So let's draw our line down the equal sign to remind us anything I do to the left side of the line, I have to do to the right side of the line. And let's not worry about y divided by 6 right now. Let's just worry about plus 12. I want to get rid of that plus 12 because I want to get that variable y alone. So I'm going to take inverse operations, which means the opposite of plus 12 is minus 12 on both sides, minus 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to cancel out that 12, which is I just did successfully. Negative 72. Now this is where I see a common mistake. Negative 72, and that's negative 12. I often see students subtracting 72 minus 12. That's incorrect. We have team negative, and when the numbers are on the same team, we add them. So in this case, we get 84. And so this is team negative, so it would be negative 84. So we have negative 84. And now I can bring down the rest of my equation. Now I can start working with y divided by 6. So I need to think of a number that I can substitute for y, divide that number by 6, and have it equal negative 84. Well, let's multiply. Again, the inverse of division is multiplication, so I'm going to multiply by 6 on both sides. This cancels, and now I have negative 84 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus the 2 makes it 50. So this is negative 504. So y equals negative 504. Now let's check our answer to make sure that we are correct. So let's plug negative 504 divided by 6. And this should equal negative 84. So let's go ahead and divide negative 504 by 6. 6 goes into 58 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Subtract. Bring down your 4. 6 times 4 is 24. And we're left with no remainder. So yeah, it does check out okay. So the correct answer would be negative 504. The last problem on this page is Imani spent half of her weekly allowance playing mini golf to earn more money. Her parents let her wash the car for $4. So $4 is how much she earns to wash the car. What is her weekly allowance if she ended with $12? Write an equation and solve. So not only do we need to solve, but we also need to write the equation. Well, what are we looking for? What's the unknown? What is her weekly allowance? So let's say X equals her weekly allowance. So let's create an equation. So we don't know what her weekly allowance is, X, but we know she earns $4 to wash her parents' car. So her weekly allowance plus $4 gives her, she ended with $12. So when you add her weekly allowance to the $4 she earned washing her car, she ends up with a total of $12. So that's our writing the equation. And now let's solve for her weekly allowance. Subtract, draw your line, subtract 4 from both sides of that line. Bring down your variable because this becomes 0, it just cancels. So X equals 8. So X being her weekly allowance, so she earned $8 that week plus the $4 for washing the car for a total of $12.